The March wind cuts through my thin jacket like it has a personal vendetta against me. I huddle deeper into the collar, my fingers already numb despite the wool gloves with holes in 3 fingers. The gloves were my mother's. She's been gone 6 years now, but I can't bring myself to replace them. My name is Elena Moretti, and I'm 28 years old. I park cars for a living. Not just any cars, luxury cars. Vehicles worth more than I'll make in 5 years. Maybe 10. I work valet at Carmelo's, an upscale Italian restaurant in Chicago's Gold Coast neighborhood, where the wealthy come to see and be seen, where a single bottle of wine costs more than my monthly rent. I've been here 8 months. Long enough to recognize the regulars, to know who tips well and who doesn't, to understand the hierarchy of wealth that exists even among the rich. Long enough to perfect my invisible smile, the one that says, "I'm here to serve you," while revealing nothing of the desperation underneath. My shift started at 5. It's now almost midnight, and my feet are screaming in the cheap non-slip shoes I bought at a discount store. My back aches from standing, from the constant motion of running to retrieve cars, from the way I have to lean into the driver's seat of vehicles with steering wheels on the wrong side or push-button starts I don't quite trust. The tips tonight have been decent. Maybe $200 total, if I'm lucky. That's good, better than average. It means I can pay the late fee on my electric bill and still have enough left over for groceries. Real groceries, not just ramen and canned soup. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. I'm thinking about this, about whether I can afford fresh vegetables, maybe even chicken, when the black Mercedes pulls up to the curb. It's not the car that catches my attention. We see luxury vehicles all night, every night. It's the way it stops. Precise. Deliberate. The engine purring with barely contained power. The driver's door opens, and a man steps out. He's tall. That's my first impression. Tall and broad-shouldered in a way that makes his perfectly tailored charcoal suit look like it was created specifically for his frame. Dark hair, slightly longer than typical for the businessmen who frequent Carmelo's, swept back from a face that's all sharp angles and hard lines. But it's his eyes that freeze me in place. Even from several feet away, even in the amber glow of the streetlights, I can see they're dark. Not just brown, dark. The kind of dark that seems to absorb light rather than reflect it. He moves with absolute confidence, the kind that comes from never having to question your place in the world. A woman emerges from the passenger side, petite, elegant, wearing a cream-colored coat that probably costs more than my car. His hand finds the small of her back, guiding her toward the restaurant entrance. Something about the gesture makes my chest tighten. It's possessive but gentle. Protective. I step forward, professional smile in place, hand extended for his keys. "Good evening, sir. Welcome to Carmelo's." His eyes meet mine, and for just a second, everything else falls away. There's an intensity in his gaze that makes me feel simultaneously visible and transparent, like he can see exactly who I am and everything I'm trying to hide. "Thank you," he says, his voice low and smooth with just a hint of an accent I can't quite place. Italian, maybe, but Americanized. Softened by years away from the homeland. He places the keys in my palm. His fingers are warm despite the cold night air. I notice he wears no wedding ring. The woman with him, definitely not his wife then, or maybe one of those modern couples who don't believe in rings, smiles at me with practiced politeness. She's beautiful in that carefully maintained way that requires money and time. Personal trainers. Expensive skincare. Regular salon appointments. Everything I'm not. They disappear into the restaurant, and I'm left holding the keys to a vehicle worth more than I'll make in the next 3 years. I drive the Mercedes to our parking lot 2 blocks away, careful with every movement. One scratch, one tiny ding, and I'd be fired. Blacklisted. Possibly sued for damages I could never afford to pay. The lot is managed by Tommy, a 60-year-old former boxer with cauliflower ears and a surprisingly gentle demeanor. He's in his booth when I arrive, reading a paperback western and drinking coffee from a thermos. Busy night, he asks as I log the Mercedes into our system. Steady, I reply, marking down the space number. You seen anything weird tonight? He looks up from his book, eyebrows raised. Weird how? I shake my head, suddenly feeling foolish. Nothing. Just a feeling. But it's not nothing. All night, I've had this crawling sensation between my shoulder blades. The kind of awareness that comes from being watched. From being prey. I learned to trust that feeling 2 years ago when I left Phoenix with nothing but a duffel bag and the clothes on my back. When I changed my name from Elena Russo to Elena Moretti, using my grandmother's maiden name. When I stopped answering calls from numbers I didn't recognize and started checking over my shoulder everywhere I went. Marcus found me anyway. 3 times in 2 years. 3 different cities. 3 narrow escapes. The restraining order is worthless. The police are sympathetic but useless. And Marcus, my ex-boyfriend, the man who once told me he loved me before his hands found my throat, has made it clear that I belong to him. That I'll always belong to him. That he'll find me wherever I go. So I run. And I watch. And I trust the prickling sensation that tells me when danger is near. Tommy goes back to his book, unconcerned. I make my way back to the restaurant, cutting through the alley that serves as our shortcut. The smell of garbage and stale beer fills my nostrils. My breath forms clouds in the cold air. That's when I see them. 3 men standing beside a silver BMW parked in the shadows near the restaurant's back entrance. They're not restaurant patrons, I can tell by their posture, by the way they're trying too hard to look casual while constantly scanning the area. One of them is smoking, the cigarette tip glowing red in the darkness. Another checks his phone repeatedly, the blue light illuminating a face that's all hard edges and cold calculation. The third leans against the car, arms crossed, his jacket open despite the cold. Open so I can see the gun tucked into his waistband. My heart rate spikes. I press myself against the alley wall, hidden in shadow, trying to control my breathing. Trying to be invisible. How much longer? The smoking one asks in a voice that carries in the quiet night. She said midnight, the one with the phone responds. When they come out. Clean and quick. And the girl? Collateral damage if she gets in the way. The girl. The woman in the cream coat. The one who arrived with the man with dark eyes. My mind races. I should call the police. I should run back to Tommy's booth and have him call. I should do something official, something safe. But I've called the police before. About Marcus. About the threats, the violence, the promises of what he'd do when he found me. And they took reports and filed paperwork and told me to stay safe, as if that were advice I could actually use. By the time police arrive, the woman in the cream coat could be dead. The man with dark eyes could be dead. And I'll have done nothing. I back away slowly, carefully, my heart hammering against my ribs. Once I'm around the corner, I run. The restaurant's front entrance glows with warm light. Inside, through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I can see the dining room. White tablecloths. Crystal chandeliers. Servers moving with choreographed efficiency. And there, at a corner table, partially obscured by a decorative screen, the man with dark eyes and the woman in cream. I burst through the doors, probably violating half a dozen protocols. The maitre d', a severe woman named Claudia who has never liked me, looks up with immediate disapproval. The valet area is outside, she says coldly. I'm breathing too hard, my words coming out jumbled. I need to speak with one of your guests. It's an emergency. Absolutely not. Claudia's expression hardens. We do not interrupt our diners for. Someone is going to die. The words come out sharper than I intend. Louder. Several nearby diners turn to look. Claudia's face flushes with anger. You need to leave. Now. Or I'll call security. I look past her, trying to catch sight of the dark-eyed man again. If I can just get his attention, just warn him somehow. But Claudia is already moving toward me, her hand raised to summon someone. I'm about to be thrown out, possibly arrested, definitely fired. So I do the only thing I can think of. I grab a pen from the maitre d's stand, snatch a cocktail napkin from a nearby server's tray, and write as fast as my shaking hands allow. Your wife. Parking lot. Danger. 3 men. Armed. Back entrance. Midnight. I fold it once, twice, my fingers clumsy with adrenaline and cold. Give this to the man at table 12, I say to a young server who's watching the scene with wide eyes. The tall one in the charcoal suit. Right now. Please. The server looks at Claudia, uncertain. Do not, Claudia begins. But the server, maybe he sees something in my face, maybe he's just young enough to believe in doing the right thing, takes the napkin and weaves through the dining room. I watch him approach the corner table. Watch him lean down to speak quietly to the dark-eyed man. Watch him hand over the folded napkin. The man takes it, barely glancing at it, probably thinking it's some fan note or business card. He sets it beside his wine glass, returning his attention to the woman across from him. You need to leave, Claudia hisses, her fingers digging into my arm. Now. She's pulling me toward the door. I can't take my eyes off table 12, willing him to read the note, to understand, to do something. And then he does. His hand moves to the napkin almost casually. He unfolds it while continuing his conversation, the gesture so smooth it seems absent-minded. I see the exact moment he reads it. His entire body goes rigid. The wine glass freezes halfway to his lips. His eyes snap up, scanning the dining room with sudden, terrible focus. They find me instantly, being dragged toward the exit by Claudia, and something passes between us. Recognition. Understanding. Belief. He's on his feet in an instant, the movement so abrupt his chair scrapes loudly against the floor. The woman in cream looks up, startled. He says something to her, too quiet for me to hear across the distance, and then he's moving. Not toward me. Toward the back of the restaurant. Toward the parking lot where 3 armed men are waiting. Wait. I try to pull free from Claudia's grip. The note, there's more. But he's already gone, disappearing through the kitchen doors, and Claudia is shoving me out into the cold night air. You're fired, she says flatly. Don't come back. The door slams in my face. I stand there for 3 seconds, maybe 4, my mind racing. The note. I didn't have time to write everything. I didn't tell him about the gun I saw. I didn't tell him they were expecting him at midnight, which is now, right now. I run. Around the side of the building, toward the back entrance, my cheap shoes slapping against wet pavement. The alley opens up before me, and I can see the parking lot beyond, can see. The silver BMW is still there. The 3 men are still there. And now the dark-eyed man is there too, moving toward them with purposeful strides, completely unaware that he's walking into an ambush. The woman in cream emerges from the restaurant behind him, calling his name, a name I don't catch, and that's when everything happens at once. The man with the gun reaches into his waistband. The dark-eyed man sees the movement, sees the threat, and his entire demeanor changes. He's no longer just a wealthy restaurant patron. He moves with the fluid efficiency of someone intimately familiar with violence, someone who's been on both sides of a gun before. He shoves the woman in cream behind a dumpster, his body shielding hers, and I realize with sudden, terrible clarity. This is not his wife. This is someone he's protecting. Someone important enough to die for. And I've just walked both of them into a trap. The man with the gun raises his weapon, and I'm moving before conscious thought, before fear can freeze me in place. I grab the only thing within reach, a metal trash can lid, and hurl it with all my strength. It's a stupid move. A desperate move. The kind of thing that happens in movies but never works in real life. Except it does. The lid hits the gunman's shoulder, throwing off his aim. The shot goes wide, echoing off brick and pavement with a sound like the world cracking open. Everything becomes chaos. The dark-eyed man is moving, closing the distance between himself and the shooter with terrifying speed. His fist connects with the gunman's jaw. I hear the impact even from 20 feet away, and the gun goes skittering across the pavement. The other two men are drawing weapons now, but more figures are emerging from the shadows. Men I hadn't seen before, men in dark suits who move with the same lethal precision as the dark-eyed man. His security. His people. They were here all along. Within seconds, it's over. The three would-be attackers are on the ground, disarmed, bleeding, surrounded by men who look like they could kill without breaking a sweat. And the dark-eyed man is turning, his gaze sweeping the parking lot, landing on me where I stand frozen in the alley entrance, still holding my arm up from throwing the trash can lid, my chest heaving with panicked breaths. Our eyes meet across the distance. His are no longer just dark. They're absolutely black with fury and something else. Something that makes my blood run cold and hot all at once. He starts walking toward me, and I realize I should run. I should disappear into the night, go back to my apartment, pack my bags, and leave Chicago like I've left every other city when things got dangerous. But I can't move. I'm rooted to the spot, watching him approach with the inevitability of a storm rolling across the prairie. He stops 2 feet away, close enough that I can see the muscle ticking in his jaw, close enough to smell his cologne, something woody and expensive that mixes with the metallic scent of adrenaline and violence. "You wrote the note," he says. Not a question. I nod, not trusting my voice. "You saved her life." His eyes flick past me to where the woman in cream is now surrounded by his security detail, shaken but unharmed. "You saved my sister's life." Sister. Not wife. The relief that floods through me is inappropriate and confusing. "I saw them," I manage to say, my voice coming out smaller than I intend. "In the parking lot. I heard them talking about midnight. About the girl, your sister. I didn't know what else to do." He's still staring at me with that intense, unblinking focus. "What's your name?" "Elena. Elena Moretti." Something flickers across his face, recognition maybe, or suspicion. "Italian?" "My grandmother was. From Naples." He nods slowly, then turns to one of his men, a massive figure with a shaved head and a scar running from temple to jaw. "Marco, get Adriana to the car. Take her home. Extra security at the house." Marco nods and moves to collect the woman, Adriana, his sister, who's protesting that she's fine, that she wants to stay. The dark-eyed man turns back to me. "You work here?" "As a valet." "Worked," I correct, and I hate that my voice cracks. Past tense. I was just fired. For warning me. For interrupting dinner service. His expression doesn't change, but something in his eyes softens almost imperceptibly. "You're coming with me." "What?" "No. I'm fine. I should just." "Elena." The way he says my name makes me stop. Makes me listen. Those men knew where to find Adriana. They knew what time we'd be leaving. They knew details they shouldn't have known. His voice drops lower. Which means someone told them. Someone who might have seen you throw that trash can lid. Someone who now knows you interfered. The implication sinks in slowly, like cold water seeping through fabric. You think they'll come after me? I know they will. He's already moving, his hand finding the small of my back exactly the way it did with his sister earlier, protective and possessive all at once. You put yourself in their crosshairs to save someone you don't even know. So now you're my responsibility. I don't need. This isn't negotiable. His voice carries absolute authority. The kind that's accustomed to obedience. You have two choices, come with me willingly, or I'll carry you to the car. Either way, you're not staying here. I should fight this. Should insist on my independence, on handling my own problems the way I've been handling them for 2 years. But I can see the 3 men on the ground, see the guns glinting under streetlights, see the blood on pavement. And I remember Marcus's hands around my throat, remember running city to city with nothing but a duffel bag and fear. I'm so tired of running. Okay, I whisper. Okay. His hand presses more firmly against my back, guiding me toward a black SUV I hadn't noticed before. The door opens, and I'm sliding into leather seats that smell like money and power and a world I don't belong to. He climbs in beside me, and the door closes, muffling the sounds of the parking lot. Through the tinted windows, I can see his security team still dealing with the attackers. See police sirens approaching in the distance. Your things, he says suddenly. Your apartment. You'll need to get your belongings. I shake my head. I don't have much. Some clothes. That's it. He studies me for a long moment, and I have the uncomfortable feeling that he's seeing more than I want him to see. The too thin jacket. The worn shoes. The exhaustion in my eyes that has nothing to do with one stressful night and everything to do with 2 years of fear. Tomorrow, he says finally. We'll get whatever you need tomorrow. Tonight, you stay where I can protect you. I don't even know your name, I say, and maybe it's the adrenaline crash or the absurdity of the situation, but the words come out almost like an accusation. A ghost of a smile touches his lips, the first real expression I've seen that isn't intensity or fury or calculation. Dante, he says. Dante Vitelli. The name hits me like a physical blow. I've heard it before. Everyone in Chicago has heard it. Whispered in restaurants and bars, spoken with equal parts fear and respect. Dante Vitelli. The name belongs to myth and rumor. To late-night news reports about organized crime and FBI investigations that never quite gather enough evidence. To a man who supposedly owns half the city through legitimate businesses and the other half through decidedly less legitimate means. I've just saved the life of a mafia boss's sister. And now I'm sitting in his car, being taken to God knows where, by a man who has the power to either protect me or destroy me with equal ease. You're scared, he observes, watching my face. Terrified, I correct. Good. He leans back against the seat, his body finally relaxing slightly. Fear keeps people alive. But understand this, Elena Moretti, his eyes lock onto mine. I protect what's mine. And as of tonight, you're under my protection. Which means no one touches you. No one threatens you. No one so much as looks at you wrong. The possessiveness in his voice should alarm me. Should send every warning bell screaming. Instead, for the first time in 2 years, I feel something dangerous unfurling in my chest. Something that feels almost like hope. The SUV pulls away from Carmelo's, leaving behind the scene of violence and chaos, carrying me toward a future I never imagined and can't begin to predict. I should be planning my escape. Should be calculating how to get away from Dante Vitelli and the dangerous world he inhabits. But instead, I'm thinking about the way his hand felt on my back. About the absolute certainty in his voice when he said I was his responsibility. About the muscle in his jaw that ticked when he realized I'd thrown myself into danger to save his sister. I glance at him from the corner of my eye. He's already back on his phone, speaking in rapid Italian to someone about security protocols and safe houses and increased surveillance. All business. All control. He ends the call and catches me watching him. Where are we going? I ask, filling the silence. Somewhere safe. My home. Your home. I repeat the words slowly, testing them. I have a penthouse in the Loop. 24-hour security. The entire top floor. No one gets in or out without my permission. He's watching me carefully, gauging my reaction. You'll have your own room. Your own space. Whatever you need. And how long am I supposed to stay there? His expression hardens slightly. Until I've dealt with the people who tried to kill my sister tonight. Until I'm certain you're not a target. You can't just keep me prisoner. I'm not keeping you prisoner, Elena. His voice is patient but firm. I'm keeping you alive. There's a difference. The SUV glides through Chicago's late-night streets, past buildings that glow with light and life, past people living normal lives in a normal world. A world I'm no longer part of. What about my job? The question sounds absurd even as I ask it. I need to work. I need money for rent. You were fired, remember? There's no mockery in his voice, just statement of fact. And your rent, I'll take care of it. No. The refusal is automatic. I don't need your charity. It's not charity. He shifts to face me more fully. You put yourself at risk to save Adriana. You threw yourself between my sister and armed men without hesitation. Do you understand what that means to me? What she means to me? I can hear the emotion underneath his controlled tone. Can see it in the way his hands clench briefly before relaxing. This man, this dangerous, powerful man, loves his sister. Would do anything for her. The way I would have done anything for my mother before cancer took her. The way I did do anything to escape Marcus before he could take me. She's your family, I say quietly. She's my only family. The admission seems to cost him something. Our parents died when I was 22 and Adriana was 16. I raised her. Protected her. Built everything I have partly so she could have the life she deserved. His jaw tightens. Tonight, someone tried to take her from me. And you stopped them. The weight of what I did, what I stepped into, settles over me fully for the first time. This wasn't just a random act of violence. This was calculated. Planned. An attack on Dante Vitelli's family, which means an attack on Dante Vitelli himself. Which means I've made enemies of whoever sent those men. Who were they? I ask. The men in the parking lot. I don't know yet. His expression turns cold. But I will. And when I do, they'll wish they'd never been born. The casual certainty of violence in his voice should frighten me. Does frighten me. But there's also something else, a dark satisfaction that someone is finally on my side. Someone with the power to actually protect me instead of just filing reports and offering useless advice. The SUV turns into an underground parking garage, descending several levels before stopping in front of a private elevator. The driver, silent throughout the journey, gets out and opens my door. I step onto concrete that gleams under bright fluorescent lights. Security cameras track our movement. Somewhere, I can hear the hum of ventilation systems. Dante's hand returns to my back as he guides me toward the elevator. It opens at his approach, facial recognition, I realize, or maybe fingerprint access on the panel I can't see. Inside, the elevator is all polished steel and subtle lighting. Only 2 buttons, one labeled P for penthouse, the other for the garage level we just left. Dante presses P and we begin to rise. In the morning, he says, breaking the silence, I'll have someone retrieve your belongings from your apartment. You can give them a list of what you need. After that, we'll discuss next steps. Next steps. I glance at him from the corner of my eye. He's already back on his phone, speaking in rapid Italian to someone about security protocols and safe houses and increased surveillance. All business. All control. He ends the call and catches me watching him. Where are we going? I ask, filling the silence. Somewhere safe. My home. Your home. I repeat the words slowly, testing them. I have a penthouse in the Loop. 24-hour security. The entire top floor. No one gets in or out without my permission. He's watching me carefully, gauging my reaction. You'll have your own room. Your own space. Whatever you need. And how long am I supposed to stay there? His expression hardens slightly. Until I've dealt with the people who tried to kill my sister tonight. Until I'm certain you're not a target. You can't just keep me prisoner. I'm not keeping you prisoner, Elena. His voice is patient but firm. I'm keeping you alive. There's a difference. The SUV glides through Chicago's late-night streets, past buildings that glow with light and life, past people living normal lives in a normal world. A world I'm no longer part of. What about my job? The question sounds absurd even as I ask it. I need to work. I need money for rent. You were fired, remember? There's no mockery in his voice, just statement of fact. And your rent, I'll take care of it. No. The refusal is automatic. I don't need your charity. It's not charity. He shifts to face me more fully. You put yourself at risk to save Adriana. You threw yourself between my sister and armed men without hesitation. Do you understand what that means to me? What she means to me? I can hear the emotion underneath his controlled tone. Can see it in the way his hands clench briefly before relaxing. This man, this dangerous, powerful man, loves his sister. Would do anything for her. The way I would have done anything for my mother before cancer took her. The way I did do anything to escape Marcus before he could take me. She's your family, I say quietly. She's my only family. The admission seems to cost him something. Our parents died when I was 22 and Adriana was 16. I raised her. Protected her. Built everything I have partly so she could have the life she deserved. His jaw tightens. Tonight, someone tried to take her from me. And you stopped them. The weight of what I did, what I stepped into, settles over me fully for the first time. This wasn't just a random act of violence. This was calculated. Planned. An attack on Dante Vitelli's family, which means an attack on Dante Vitelli himself. Which means I've made enemies of whoever sent those men. Who were they? I ask. The men in the parking lot. I don't know yet. His expression turns cold. But I will. And when I do, they'll wish they'd never been born. The casual certainty of violence in his voice should frighten me. Does frighten me. But there's also something else, a dark satisfaction that someone is finally on my side. Someone with the power to actually protect me instead of just filing reports and offering useless advice. The SUV turns into an underground parking garage, descending several levels before stopping in front of a private elevator. The driver, silent throughout the journey, gets out and opens my door. I step onto concrete that gleams under bright fluorescent lights. Security cameras track our movement. Somewhere, I can hear the hum of ventilation systems. Dante's hand returns to my back as he guides me toward the elevator. It opens at his approach, facial recognition, I realize, or maybe fingerprint access on the panel I can't see. Inside, the elevator is all polished steel and subtle lighting. Only 2 buttons, one labeled P for penthouse, the other for the garage level we just left. Dante presses P and we begin to rise. In the morning, he says, breaking the silence, I'll have someone retrieve your belongings from your apartment. You can give them a list of what you need. After that, we'll discuss next steps. Next steps. My clothes from last night are gone. In their place, someone has left a stack of new items on the chair by the bed, yoga pants, a soft cashmere sweater, undergarments still with tags attached. All in my size. All perfectly chosen. The efficiency of it unsettles me. How did they know my sizes? When did they take my clothes? How did I not wake up? I shower in the bathroom that's larger than most people's bedrooms, trying not to calculate the cost of the marble or the rainfall shower head or the heated towel rack. Trying not to think about how easily I could get used to this. That's the real danger, isn't it? Not Dante himself, but how quickly I could become dependent on him. On this life. I dress in the clothes that were left for me, because what choice do I have, and find my way back to the main living area. Dante is already awake, standing by the windows with a cup of coffee, wearing dark slacks and a white dress shirt with the sleeves rolled up. He's on the phone, speaking in rapid Italian that I can follow but pretend not to. He's discussing the men from last night. The one who pulled the gun is named Russo. Works for the Calabrese family. The attack was sanctioned by someone high up, but they don't know who yet. Russo. The name sends a chill down my spine. It was my name too, before I changed it. Before I ran from Phoenix. Dante notices me and ends his call with a few sharp words. He turns, his eyes sweeping over me in a way that feels both assessing and appreciative. You slept well, he observes. Not a question. Better than I have in months, I admit, then wonder why I'm being so honest. Something shifts in his expression. Understanding, maybe. Coffee? Please. He moves to the kitchen, which is all marble countertops and professional-grade appliances, and pours me a cup from a machine that probably costs more than my old car. He hands it to me, our fingers brushing in the transfer. The coffee is perfect. Rich and smooth with just a hint of sweetness, even though I never told him how I take it. You had someone go through my things, I say, sitting on one of the bar stools at the kitchen island. At my apartment. I had Marco retrieve what you'd need. Your landlord was cooperative when presented with cash to cover this month's rent and next. You paid my rent. I did. He leans against the counter across from me, completely unapologetic. Your lease is up at the end of April anyway. I saw the notice on your table. The casual invasion of my privacy should anger me. Does anger me, a little. But there's also something else, a strange relief that someone else is handling the logistics of my life, even temporarily. What else did your people find? I ask, keeping my voice neutral. Dante's eyes sharpen. Very little, which is interesting. No family photos. No personal mementos beyond a few pieces of your mother's jewelry. Clothes, basic toiletries, a laptop. He pauses. The apartment of someone ready to run at a moment's notice. My hands tighten around the coffee mug. I like to travel light. Elena. The way he says my name, patient but firm, tells me he's not buying it. I ran a background check on you last night. Elena Moretti appears in Chicago 8 months ago. Before that, there's nothing. No credit history, no social media, no paper trail. My pulse kicks up. Maybe I just value my privacy. Or maybe you're running from something. He crosses his arms. Or someone. The urge to lie is instinctive. To protect myself the way I've been protecting myself for 2 years. But I'm tired. So tired of carrying it alone. And Dante, dangerous, powerful Dante, already knows I'm hiding something. His name is Marcus, I hear myself say. Marcus Chen. We dated for 2 years in Phoenix. He seemed normal at first. Charming, even. By the end, he was. I stop, the words catching in my throat. Dante's entire posture changes. Goes very still in a way that screams danger. He hurt you. Not a question. A statement of fact that he's already accepted as truth. I nod, unable to meet his eyes. I tried to leave 3 times. He found me each time. The 3rd time, I touched my throat unconsciously, remembering the pressure of his hands. The way the world went dark at the edges. I waited until he went to work. Packed 1 bag. Changed my name. Ran. And he's still looking for you. He sent me a message 6 weeks ago. To an email account I thought he didn't know about. Said he'd find me eventually. That I belonged to him. I force myself to look up, to meet Dante's black gaze. That's why I don't have anything. Why I'm always ready to run. Because I know he will find me. He always does. The silence that follows is heavy with unspoken promises. Unspoken threats. What's his full name? Dante asks, his voice calm. Too calm. Dante, no. I just told you because you asked. I'm not asking you to. Elena. He moves around the island, closing the distance between us until he's standing close enough that I have to tilt my head back to maintain eye contact. What's his full name? Where does he work? Where does he live? Marcus Chen. He works in tech, software development. Last I knew, he was still in Phoenix, but he could be anywhere by now. Dante pulls out his phone and types something quickly. Within seconds, it buzzes with a response. He reads it, his jaw tightening. He's in Chicago, Dante says quietly. Has been for 3 weeks. Renting an apartment in Lincoln Park. The floor seems to tilt beneath me. How do you? I have resources. His hand comes up to cup my cheek, the gesture surprisingly gentle from such a dangerous man. And as of right now, those resources are focused on making sure Marcus Chen never gets within 100 feet of you again. I should protest. Should tell him I can handle my own problems. But the truth is, I can't. I've been running for 2 years, and Marcus keeps finding me. Keeps getting closer. What are you going to do? I whisper. His thumb traces my cheekbone, a touch that sends unwelcome heat through my body. What I do best. Protect what's mine. There's that word again. Mine. Possessive and absolute. Coming from anyone else, it would terrify me. Coming from Dante, it feels like the first real safety I've had since I left Phoenix. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. Before I can respond, the elevator doors open and Adriana steps out. She looks different in daylight, younger than I initially thought, probably mid-20s. Her cream coat is gone, replaced by designer jeans and a silk blouse. Her dark hair is pulled into a sleek ponytail, and despite the attempted murder less than 12 hours ago, she looks remarkably composed. Until she sees me. Then her face breaks into a genuine smile. You're her, she says, crossing the space quickly. The valet girl who saved my life. Elena, Dante supplies. Elena Moretti. Elena, this is my sister, Adriana. Adriana doesn't offer a handshake. She pulls me into a hug that catches me completely off guard. She smells like expensive perfume and gratitude. Thank you, she murmurs against my shoulder. Dante told me what you did. The note. The trash can lid. She pulls back, her eyes, the same dark shade as her brother's, bright with unshed tears. You didn't even know me, and you risked your life. I don't know how to explain it. I saw them. I heard what they were planning. I couldn't just walk away. Most people would have. Adriana glances at her brother. That's what Dante keeps saying. That most people would have called the police and hoped for the best. The police wouldn't have arrived in time, I say simply. Dante's eyes are on me, that intense focus that makes me feel both seen and vulnerable. No, he agrees. They wouldn't have. Adriana settles onto the couch, tucking her legs beneath her like she's done this 1,000 times. Probably has. This is her brother's home, after all. Her safe place. So you're staying here? She asks, more curious than judgmental. Temporarily, I say at the same time Dante says, as long as necessary. We look at each other. Something passes between us, a wordless negotiation about control and autonomy and what necessary means. She has an ex-boyfriend, Dante tells his sister. Dangerous. Abusive. He's in Chicago looking for her. I tense, not appreciating having my trauma shared so casually. But Adriana's expression shifts immediately to understanding and sympathy. Then you're staying, she says firmly. End of discussion. No one deserves to live in fear like that. Her voice softens. I lost count of how many friends in college stayed with me to get away from bad boyfriends. It's different when someone has the resources to actually keep you safe. Resources. Such a sanitized word for what Dante has. For what he is. Coffee, Adri? Dante asks, already moving to pour her a cup. Please. And tell me you're handling the Calabrese situation. It's being handled. The casual way they discuss violence, potential violence, at least, should unsettle me more than it does. But I've lived with Marcus's threats for so long that Dante's controlled response feels almost refreshing. At least he's honest about what he is. What he's capable of. Marco, the bodyguard from last night, emerges from somewhere, speaking quietly to Dante. There's news about the interrogation. The man with the gun, Russo, has started talking. Dante's expression hardens. Elena, Adriana, stay here. Don't leave the penthouse. Dante, Adriana begins. Not negotiable. His voice carries absolute authority. He looks at me. I'll be back in a few hours. Marco stays with you. If you need anything, ask him. He's moving toward the elevator when I call out, be careful. He stops, turns back. Something in his expression softens when he looks at me. Always am. Then he's gone, and I'm left with Adriana and the silent, hulking presence of Marco, who positions himself by the windows with the vigilance of someone who takes his job very seriously. He likes you, Adriana says casually, sipping her coffee. I nearly choke on mine. What? Dante. My brother. He likes you. She's watching me with those dark vitelli eyes that see too much. I can tell. He's different around you. We just met last night. Exactly. She sets down her cup. And he brought you here. To his home. The place where he feels safe. Where we feel safe. She leans forward slightly. Dante doesn't bring people here, Elena. Ever. His business associates meet him at restaurants or the office. She pauses delicately, companions get hotel rooms if they're lucky. The word companions makes my stomach clench uncomfortably. Of course a man like Dante has women. Probably has his pick of them. Beautiful, sophisticated women who understand his world and belong in it. Not waitresses, valets, who throw trash can lids at armed men and run from abusive ex-boyfriends. I'm not, I start, then stop. What am I, exactly? A responsibility. A debt to be repaid. Your brother is being kind. Because I helped you. That's all. Adriana's smile is knowing. If you say so. We spend the next few hours in surprisingly easy companionship. Adriana is smart and funny, with a degree in art history and opinions about everything from Italian cinema to Chicago politics. She treats me like a friend rather than her brother's charity case, and slowly, I begin to relax. Marco remains silent and watchful, but his presence becomes background noise rather than threat. Around noon, Adriana orders lunch from some restaurant I've never heard of, probably costs more for one meal than I used to spend in a week. It arrives via private delivery, the kind that comes up the private elevator rather than through any public entrance. The food is incredible. Fresh pasta with truffle oil. Prosciutto that melts on the tongue. Bread so perfect it needs no butter. You get used to it, Adriana says, watching me savor each bite. The luxury, I mean. It becomes normal eventually. Does it? I can't imagine this ever feeling normal. She's quiet for a moment. Our parents died in a car accident. I was 16. Dante was 22, barely out of college. Her voice is matter of fact, but I can hear the old grief underneath. We had nothing. They left debt, not inheritance. I set down my fork, giving her my full attention. Dante worked 3 jobs while finishing his degree. Took care of me. Made sure I could stay in private school, go to college. She meets my eyes. Everything he built, the businesses, the money, the power, he built it for me. So I'd never have to worry. Never have to struggle. He loves you very much, I say quietly. He does. But it cost him. She looks away, toward the windows and the city beyond. The kind of power Dante has, the kind he needed to keep us safe and give us this life, it doesn't come clean. There are compromises. Deals with people you wouldn't invite to dinner. Blood on your hands even when you try to keep them clean. I think about the men in the parking lot. About Dante's cold promise to deal with whoever sent them. About the careful way he never quite defines what his businesses entail. I know what he is, I say. What he has to be. Adriana studies me for a long moment. And you're okay with that? Am I? 24 hours ago, I would have said no. Would have run from anyone connected to organized crime. But that was before I saw how Dante looks at his sister. Before he protected me without asking for anything in return. Before he promised to deal with Marcus, the monster I've been running from for 2 years, with the kind of certainty that comes from actual power rather than empty words. I don't know yet, I answer honestly. But I'm not running. Adriana's smile is approving. Good. Because Dante needs someone who sees him. Not just the power or the danger, but him. Before I can respond, the elevator doors open, and Dante steps out. There's blood on his shirt. Not a lot, just a few drops on the cuff, like he tried to clean up but missed some. His expression is neutral, controlled, but there's something in his eyes. Something dark and satisfied. Adriana barely glances up. Is it handled? It's handled. Dante's eyes find mine, and I see him register my stare. The way I'm frozen, looking at the blood. He crosses to me slowly, crouching down so we're at eye level. I didn't kill anyone, if that's what you're thinking. But you hurt someone. Yes. No apology. No justification. Just acknowledgement. I should be horrified. Should demand to know details. Should run back to my old life of fear and uncertainty. Instead, I hear myself ask, did you find out who sent them? Who tried to hurt Adriana? Something flickers in his eyes. Surprise, maybe. Or respect. I did. And I've sent a very clear message that such actions will not be tolerated. He reaches out, his hand, the one without blood on the cuff, cupping my cheek again. You're safe, Elena. Adriana is safe. That's what matters. Adriana stands, stretching. I should go. I have a meeting with the gallery about the new exhibition. She kisses her brother's cheek, then mine. Elena, I hope you'll stay. It's nice having another woman around. Dante's boring when it's just him and his security detail. I'm right here, Dante says dryly. I know. Adriana winks at me. Why do you think I said it? Marco escorts her to the elevator, leaving Dante and me alone in the vast living room. You should change, I say, nodding toward his shirt. The blood. In a moment. He's still crouching in front of me, still close enough that I can smell his cologne mixed with something sharper. Adrenaline, maybe. Or violence. I want to make sure you're okay first. That seeing me like this doesn't. I've seen worse, I interrupt, thinking of Marcus. Of the bruises he left. Of the terror that became my constant companion. At least you're honest about what you are. What you're capable of. He nods slowly, searching my face. Most people can't handle that honesty. I'm not most people. The words come out stronger than I intend. More certain. His lips curve in what might be the first genuine smile I've seen from him. No, he agrees. You're not. He stands, and I immediately miss his proximity. The warmth of his hand on my face. I have calls to make, he says. Business to handle. But tonight, he pauses. I'd like to have dinner. Just the two of us. If you're comfortable with that. It's the first time he's asked rather than commanded. The first time he's given me a choice about anything. I'd like that, I say, and I'm surprised to find I mean it. He nods, that intense focus never wavering. Good. 7 o'clock. I'll have something brought in. I watch him disappear down the hallway toward what I assume is his bedroom. Marco returns from seeing Adriana off and resumes his post by the windows. I'm alone with my thoughts and a half-finished plate of pasta and the unsettling realization that I'm not scared. I should be. I'm essentially trapped in the penthouse of a man who just came home with blood on his clothes. A man who admits to violence without apology. A man who operates in a world of shadows and danger. But instead of fear, I feel something else. Something warm and dangerous that has nothing to do with safety and everything to do with the way Dante looks at me. The way he touches my face. The way he says my name like it means something. I spend the afternoon exploring the penthouse, though there's not much to see. It's beautiful but impersonal, like a luxury hotel rather than a home. No family photos. No personal touches. Just expensive furniture and carefully curated art. The only exception is Dante's study, which I find by accident while looking for the bathroom. The door is ajar, and I can see bookshelves lining the walls. Real books, worn with reading, not decorator pieces. I shouldn't go in. I know I shouldn't. But curiosity wins out. The study is warmer than the rest of the penthouse. A leather chair by the window looks actually used, with a blanket draped over one arm. On the desk, amid the expected laptop and papers, there's a framed photograph. I move closer, unable to resist. It's a family photo. A younger Dante, maybe 20, with his arm around a teenage girl who's clearly Adriana. They're laughing, caught mid-motion, completely unself-conscious. And beside them, a couple in their 40s. His parents, I realize. Before the accident. The Dante in the photo looks different. Lighter. Less burdened by the weight of power and responsibility. That was taken 3 weeks before they died. I spin around to find Dante in the doorway. He's changed into clean clothes, dark jeans and a soft gray sweater that makes his eyes look even darker. I'm sorry, I say quickly. I shouldn't have. It's fine. He moves into the room, his eyes on the photograph. I keep it here so I remember why I do what I do. Who I do it for. Adriana. He nods. She was so young. So vulnerable. I couldn't let her end up in foster care or with relatives who didn't give a damn about us. His jaw tightens. I did what I had to do. Made deals with people I'd rather not have dealt with. Built connections in places you don't want to know about. And eventually, I built something real. Something that couldn't be taken away. I move closer to him, drawn by the rare glimpse of vulnerability. You became exactly what she needed you to be. I became exactly what I had to be. He looks at me then, really looks at me. But there's a cost. There's always a cost. Before I can ask what he means, his phone buzzes. He checks it, and his expression hardens. What is it? I ask, my heart rate picking up. Your ex-boyfriend. Dante's voice is cold. Controlled. Marcus Chen. He was at your old apartment building this morning. Asking the landlord about you. My blood turns to ice. He found me. He found where you were living. But you're not there anymore. Dante's hand finds my shoulder, steady and warm. He doesn't know where you are now. And he won't find out. You don't understand. Marcus is, he's smart. Obsessive. He'll keep digging. He'll. Elena. Dante's other hand comes up to frame my face, forcing me to meet his eyes. Listen to me very carefully. I deal with dangerous people every day. People who think they're untouchable. People who think they're above consequences. His voice drops lower, more intense. Marcus Chen is not untouchable. He's not above consequences. And the moment he decided to hunt you, he put himself in my crosshairs. The absolute certainty in his voice should be unsettling. Instead, it's the most comforting thing I've heard in 2 years. What are you going to do? I whisper. What I promised. His thumbs trace my cheekbones, the gesture achingly gentle from such dangerous hands. Protect what's mine. There's that word again. Mine. This time, I don't have the strength to protest it. This time, I lean into it. Into him. He pulls me closer, his arms wrapping around me, and I let myself be held by a man who came home with blood on his clothes. Who built an empire on shadows and violence. Who looks at me like I'm something precious instead of something broken. We're going to have dinner, he murmurs against my hair. And we're going to talk about what happens next. About how we deal with Marcus. About how we keep you safe. We. I pull back slightly to look at him. I thought I was under your protection. You are. His expression is serious. Honest. But you're not helpless, Elena. You threw a trash can lid at an armed man to save a stranger. You've survived 2 years of running from someone who wants to hurt you. You're stronger than you think. The acknowledgement does something to me. breaks something open in my chest that's been locked tight for too long. I don't feel strong, I admit. Then I'll believe it for both of us. His hand cups my face again, and this time, when he leans closer, I know what's coming. I could pull away. Should pull away. This is a terrible idea on every level. But when his lips touch mine, I don't pull away. The kiss is different from what I expected. Not demanding or aggressive, but questioning. Careful. Like he's giving me every opportunity to say no. To push him away. I don't. Instead, I kiss him back, my hands fisting in his sweater, pulling him closer. He makes a sound low in his throat, satisfaction or surprise or both, and the kiss deepens. It's been so long since I've been touched without fear. So long since I've wanted to be touched at all. Marcus ruined that for me, turned intimacy into something to survive rather than enjoy. But this, Dante's mouth on mine, his hands careful but possessive on my waist, his body solid and warm against mine, this doesn't feel like something to survive. This feels like coming alive. He pulls back before I'm ready, both of us breathing hard. His forehead rests against mine, his eyes closed. 7 o'clock, he says, his voice rough. Dinner. Dante. 7 o'clock, Elena. He steps back, putting distance between us. Because if we don't stop now, I won't want to stop at all. The raw honesty in his voice sends heat through my entire body. He leaves me standing in his study, surrounded by books and memories and the lingering warmth of his kiss, wondering how my life went from running and hiding to this. To wanting a dangerous man with blood on his hands and darkness in his eyes. To feeling safe for the first time in years, even though I'm in the most dangerous situation imaginable. I touch my lips, still feeling the ghost of his kiss, and realize with sudden clarity. I'm not running anymore. Whatever happens next, with Marcus, with the people who tried to kill Adriana, with my complicated feelings for a man I barely know but can't seem to resist, I'm facing it here. With Dante Vitelli. The man who calls me his. Who protects what's his with absolute certainty. The man who just kissed me like I was worth saving. 7 o'clock comes too fast and not fast enough. I've changed 3 times, trying on different outfits from the mysteriously well-stocked closet before settling on simple black pants and a silk blouse the color of wine. I've redone my makeup twice. My hands are shaking, and I can't tell if it's from nerves about dinner or the lingering fear about Marcus being so close. Probably both. Dante is waiting in the dining area when I emerge. He set the table himself. I can tell because it's slightly imperfect, the candles not quite centered, the wine glasses a fraction off from where a professional would place them. The imperfection makes it more intimate somehow. More real. You look beautiful, he says, standing as I approach. You look nervous, I counter, because he does. There's a tension in his shoulders, a tightness around his eyes that wasn't there before. He laughs, an actual laugh that transforms his entire face. I am nervous. I don't usually do this. Eat dinner. Have dinner with someone he stops himself. Someone important. The admission hangs between us, weighted with meaning neither of us is quite ready to examine. He pulls out my chair, and I sit. The food has already been delivered. Some kind of seafood risotto that smells incredible, fresh bread, a salad that looks like art. We eat in companionable silence for a few minutes before Dante sets down his fork and looks at me with that intense focus I'm starting to recognize. I need to tell you something about Marcus, he says. My appetite vanishes. Did something happen? No. Not yet. He pauses. But I've had my people watching him. Following him. I know where he goes, who he talks to, what he does every hour of every day. The thought should disturb me, this level of surveillance, this invasion of someone's privacy. But all I feel is grim satisfaction. And I prompt. And he's not just looking for you, Elena. He's obsessed. Dante's jaw tightens. He has photos of you on his phone. Old ones. New ones from security footage he somehow obtained from your previous apartments. He has a map marked with every place you've lived, every job you've worked. My hands start to shake. I set down my wine glass before I drop it. He's contacted 3 private investigators in the last month, Dante continues. Spent over $20,000 trying to find you. He quit his job in Phoenix specifically to move here when he discovered you were in Chicago. The room feels too small suddenly. Too warm. How did he find out I was here? A friend of a friend who saw you at the restaurant. Posted something on social media about the cute valet girl at Carmelo's. Dante's expression darkens. Marcus has search alerts set up for anything related to you. Any mention of your name, your appearance, anything. I'm going to be sick. Elena. Dante reaches across the table, taking my shaking hand in his steady one. I'm telling you this not to scare you, but so you understand why I need you to stay here. Why you need to let me handle this. Handle it how? My voice comes out sharper than I intend. You can't just, what? Make him disappear. That would make you a murderer. He doesn't flinch from the word. I've killed people, Elena. Not often. Only when absolutely necessary. But yes, I've done it. The blunt honesty should send me running. Should make me see him as the monster he's admitting to being. But all I can think is, would the world really miss Marcus Chin? Would anyone mourn the man who strangled me until I blacked out? Who threatened to kill me if I ever left him? I'm not asking you to kill him, I say carefully. But I'm also not going to pretend I'd cry if something happened to him. Dante's eyes search mine. You deserve better than having to live with that thought. With that guilt. I deserve to be free of him. I squeeze his hand. However that happens. We're both quiet for a moment, the weight of what we're discussing settling over the table like fog. There's another option, Dante says finally. I could have him arrested. I have connections in the police department. With what I've documented, the stalking, the harassment, the violation of the restraining order, they could hold him. Maybe even deport him. Marcus's family has money. Lawyers. He'd be out in days. Not if the evidence was compelling enough. Not if there were, he pauses, choosing his words carefully, additional charges that made him too much of a risk to release. I understand what he's not saying. He could plant evidence. Frame Marcus for something serious enough that no amount of money or lawyers could fix it. It should horrify me. Should make me question everything about the man sitting across from me. Instead, I feel relief so intense it makes me dizzy. When? I ask. Soon. I'm waiting for the right moment. The right evidence to present itself. His thumb traces circles on the back of my hand. But Elena, you need to understand, once I do this, once I move against him, you can't go back to your old life. You'll be connected to me. To my world. I don't want my old life. The words come out before I can second guess them. That life was running and hiding in fear. That life was being alone. And this life. He gestures around the penthouse. This life is danger. It's secrets. It's never being entirely sure who you can trust. It's you, I interrupt. This life is you. And Adriana. And feeling safe for the first time in 2 years. And maybe, I take a breath, maybe something more than that. The air between us changes. Charges with something electric and inevitable. Dante stands, pulling me up with him. We're standing too close, his hands on my waist, mine on his chest where I can feel his heartbeat, surprisingly fast for a man who always seems so controlled. I want you, he says, his voice low and rough. I've wanted you since you walked into that parking lot and threw a trash can lid at an armed man. Since you sat in my car and looked at me without fear. Since. I kiss him before he can finish, rising on my toes to press my mouth to his. This time there's no hesitation, no careful questioning. This is want and need and the reckless certainty that whatever happens next, I'm choosing this. Choosing him. He responds immediately, one hand sliding into my hair, the other pulling me flush against him. The kiss is deeper than before, more demanding, and I meet him with equal intensity. This is what I've been afraid of for so long, not just being touched, but wanting to be touched. Trusting someone enough to be vulnerable with them. But Dante isn't Marcus. He's dangerous, yes, but not to me. Never to me. His control is ironclad even now. Even when I can feel the tension in his body, the want that matches mine. He pulls back, both of us breathing hard, his forehead resting against mine. Not yet, he murmurs. Not until you're sure. Not until Marcus is dealt with and you can choose this freely without fear coloring everything. I want to argue. Want to tell him I am sure, I am choosing this. But part of me knows he's right. Part of me knows that until Marcus is truly gone, not just physically distant but completely neutralized, I won't be able to give myself to anyone fully. Soon, I say instead, a promise. Soon, he agrees. We're still standing there, wrapped in each other, when his phone rings. He checks it, and his entire body goes rigid. It's Marco. Something's wrong. He answers, his expression growing darker with each word he hears. When he hangs up, there's a coldness in his eyes I haven't seen directed at me before. What happened? I ask, fear creeping up my spine. Marcus went to Adriana's apartment. The world tilts. What? How did he? He must have been following you. Saw you with her. Figured out the connection. Dante's already moving, grabbing his jacket, checking the gun I didn't know he was wearing. She's fine. Marco's with her. But Marcus left a message at her door. What kind of message? He shows me his phone. A photograph. An envelope taped to Adriana's door with my name written on it in handwriting I recognize immediately. Marcus's handwriting. What does it say? I whisper. Marco opened it. It says, Dante's voice is tight with controlled fury, I know where you're hiding, Elena. I know who's protecting you. Tell him that you're mine, and I'm coming to take you back. Tomorrow night. Carmelo's restaurant. Come alone, or people you care about will get hurt. Adriana appears beside us, rolling her eyes but smiling. You two are adorable and also making the donors uncomfortable. Maybe save the declarations of love for when you get home. She's right, Dante agrees, not looking away from me. We should go home. The event just started, I protest. I don't care. He's already guiding me toward the exit. I have more important things to do. Like showing you exactly how much I love you. In detail. 4 hours. Heat floods through me. We can't just leave. Watch me. He looks at his sister. Congratulations, Adri. The exhibition is beautiful. You're brilliant. I'll see you tomorrow. Adriana just laughs and shoos us away. Go. Be happy. Bring me nephews and nieces eventually but not too soon. I'm too young to be an aunt. The drive back to the penthouse, our penthouse now, truly shared, is charged with anticipation. Dante's hand never leaves my thigh, his touch burning through the silk of my dress. I have something for you, he says as we ride the elevator up. I was waiting for the right moment. This seems like a pretty good moment. He pulls a small velvet box from his jacket pocket, and my heart stops. Dante. It's not what you think. Not yet. He opens the box to reveal not a ring but a key. This is yours. Not because you live here, but because this is your home. Our home. He takes my hand. I want you to feel like you belong here. Like you own this place as much as I do. Like you're not a guest in my life but a permanent part of it. Tears sting my eyes. You're going to make me cry at your sister's opening. We're not at the opening anymore. He wipes away a tear that escapes. And I haven't gotten to the important part yet. There's more. Elena Moretti, he pauses. Is that even your real name? I laugh through my tears. Close enough. Elena Russo originally, but I like Moretti better. It was my grandmother's name. Elena Russo Moretti. He tests it, seeming to like how it sounds. Will you marry me? Not now, not until you're ready. But someday. When you've had time to be sure. When? Yes. I don't let him finish. Yes to someday. Yes to everything. His kiss is tender and passionate and full of promise. Full of the future we're building together. When we finally make it inside the penthouse, he carries me to our bedroom, not the guest room I started in, but the master bedroom we've shared for months. I love you, he murmurs against my skin as he slowly removes my dress. My brave, beautiful Elena who threw a trash can lid at armed men. I love you, I respond, helping him out of his jacket, his shirt. My dangerous, protective Dante who gave me my life back. We make love slowly, tenderly, taking our time because we have all the time in the world now. No more running. No more fear. Just this, the two of us choosing each other every day. Afterward, wrapped in expensive sheets with Dante's arm around me and the city lights glowing through the windows, I think about the note I wrote 6 months ago. Your wife. Parking lot. Danger. I wasn't his wife then. Wasn't anything to him except a valet who happened to be in the right place at the right time. But I will be his wife someday. And when that day comes, I'll know it wasn't fear or gratitude or circumstance that brought us together. It was choice. Mine and his. Every single day, we choose this. Choose each other. Choose love over fear, courage over safety, together over alone. What are you thinking? Dante asks, his fingers tracing lazy patterns on my shoulder. I'm thinking that I slipped you a note warning you about danger 6 months ago. I press a kiss to his chest, right over his heart. And somehow that danger turned into the safest place I've ever been. He pulls me closer, his lips brushing my temple. You're safe with me. Always. For the rest of our lives. Promise. Promise. And I believe him. Because Dante Vitelli is a man who keeps his promises. Who protects what's his with absolute certainty and unwavering devotion. And I am his. Just as he is mine. Forever. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you love this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.